Hello everybody and welcome to this week's episode of Overcoming the Wednesday Hump. For those of you who are new to these videos, they're designed to do just that, to help you to overcome that midweek Wednesday feeling when you're halfway through the week, your motivation levels are starting to dip and you're asking yourself, how am I going to get through this week? These videos are designed to lift you back up and to give you that motivation and that inspiration to keep driving forward in the direction towards your goals and your dreams for the future. For those of you who are new to the channel, if you're enjoying the content, please do like this video and subscribe to my channel so that you can get notifications when I release new videos. In this week's video, we are talking about the importance of being open to rebuke. This is such an important topic. Because the reality is, who likes to be rebuked? Who likes to be corrected? Who likes to be told that you did that wrong, or I think you could do better in this area, or you offended me, or I don't like the way you handled that situation? We don't like to have these conversations because they're quite uncomfortable. And sometimes it can feel like an attack on our character. And who likes to feel attacked? Who likes to feel like they're not good enough? However, it's really important that you start to develop that character, that skill, that habit of being able to reflect and to be open to correction and open to rebuke. Because if you're not, then that really risks your self-development and your professional development and development in any and every area of your life. Because as humans, we are social beings. We need to be able to interact and to form good relationships. It doesn't matter how talented or clever you are. There is only so much you can do as a single individual. And in order for you to move forward with your teams, be that in the workplace or even in your household with your husband, with your wife, with whoever, you need to be able to develop your communication skills. And you need to be able to receive correction and receive rebuke so that you can continue working on yourself and adapting and changing. Now, in order to be able to receive rebuke or receive correction, it's really important that you work on developing that spirit of humility, because it does indeed take a level of humility to hear somebody out, to listen to what they have to say with an open heart. Because sometimes when people are telling us that I think you did this wrong or I don't like the way you handled that, we can become very defensive. And when we become defensive, we can almost like turn off in the sense that we don't even want to hear what they have to say. And instead, what our response could be is we're thinking in our mind all of the things that person did so that we can tell them about the things they did that we found offensive or that we don't agree with. But this is not the best mechanism, or this is not the best way to react to a situation like that. It's really important that, as I said, you have that level of humility where you can stop and you can reflect and you can try to view it from the other person's viewpoint. Even if you don't agree with them, the fact that you can be empathic enough to really pause and to understand their frustration and to try to reason from their perspective, that alone often can help to diffuse these situations or just allow that other person to feel like you actually care. Because as humans, we want to feel like people actually care about our emotions and care about our feelings. One of the most horrible feelings ever is when you tell somebody that they've irritated you or they've upset you and they just don't care, or at least you feel like they don't care. It's a very uncomfortable feeling, and it can be very painful and hurtful. So in this video, as I said, we're talking about the importance of being open to rebuke and open to correction. And this is so important because in order for you to progress and to develop as a leader, you need to work on yourself. And in order to work on yourself, you need to receive feedback, because we are not perfect. No matter how great you are not perfect. Nobody is perfect. And life is all about interacting with people. We're social beings as humans. It's about developing relationships and being able to move forward together as a team. And so part of that involves you understanding that there will be days when you get it wrong. There will be times when you offend people. There will be times when you do things that upset people. And it's important that in those moments you can take stock of what actually happened, what part you played, and how you might have been able to handle that situation differently. The other thing I want to touch on this topic is the difference between constructive versus destructive criticism. And I say this because sometimes people may misinterpret something you did, or they may be offended by something you did, but the way they're communicating that to you, the way they're giving you their feedback, it feels very toxic and it feels quite destructive. Maybe they're saying horrible things to you, or they're trying to be condescending or bring down your confidence or attack your self-esteem. And it's really important in these situations that you recognize that and you draw the line, because when you're receiving feedback from somebody, it should come from a place where they want you to recognize what you've done so that you can change for better. It shouldn't come from a place where this person has so much animosity and anger towards you that they're just trying to deflate you or trying to bring you down. That is not healthy. And if somebody is trying to give you feedback from that kind of place, it's important that you put in your own boundaries and you say, no, I appreciate that you may have been offended, and I understand that, and I apologize for making you feel that way, but it's not okay for you to speak to me like this. It's not okay for you to be demeaning and rude and, to really try to attack, or I feel like you're attacking my character in that way. And sometimes when you're in those situations, it may not even be wise to speak. And this is where emotional intelligence comes in, because you have to read the situation. There's not a formula that is one fits all. It all varies. If you're in a scenario where somebody is being really toxic and aggressive and rude, etc., it may not be a good idea to even try to rationalize with that person, because sometimes people have made up their mind about you. And once they've made up their mind about you, because they're so fixated on the perception that they have of your character, if it's not a favorable one and they're very angry towards you and they're giving off toxic energy, then sometimes it's best to just remove yourself from that situation rather than trying to rationalize with that person. And even for yourself, if somebody is giving you feedback and you can feel yourself getting really emotional and really heightened, it may be better for you to say to that person, look, I apologize for making you feel that way. I appreciate that you want to speak to me right now, but I don't think I'm in the right mental space. Just allow me to have some time to myself and we can readdress this at a later time. It's important to be able to do that, because sometimes if you're too heightened about a situation, if you're feeling angry or feeling upset, again, it's difficult for you to try to empathize and to rationalize from another person's perspective if you're so heightened yourself. When we have excesses of emotions, it can often skew our judgment. So again, I encourage you to take time away from that situation and just reevaluate and reflect before you go back to have that discussion with that person. Now, to give you a practical example of this topic of being open to rebuke or open to correction, I want to talk about the working relationship that I have with my co-founder for the Armitage Foundation, the charity that I co-founded to increase diversity across medical schools. Now, there have been seasons of our working relationship where we've had to spend a lot of time interacting with each other, a lot of time working together. And when you spend a lot of time with someone, you see their variety of emotions, in that you'll see them when they're relaxed, you can see them when they're under pressure, when they're feeling a bit stressed, when they're tired, etc. And if we are feeling really tired or we are feeling really stressed, it's going to affect the way we interact with people, or it will affect our productivity, etc. And so my co-founder and I have had moments where I've been on edge or he's been on edge, and that's affected, the way we're communicating with each other, or it's affected the way that we're working together. But one of the things I really appreciate, and one of the things that we've made really important in terms of our business relationship, is communication. It's valuing each other, respecting each other, and being open to criticism. And we're able to criticize each other constructively from a place that is healthy and not from a place of resentment and animosity, because we understand that we are working towards a common cause, a common goal of increasing diversity across UK medical schools. It's something that we both strongly believe in. It's something that we're both passionate about. And so we put aside our own personal feelings when we do have these moments where we're feeling challenged by each other. We try to put aside our emotions and we try to reason with each other. We try to understand where the other person is coming from, because we value the strength of our relationship more than we value wanting to be right, or having pride, or not wanting to feel like we're in the wrong. And that has been, it's not always been easy. As I said, sometimes having these conversations with people can be really awkward, and there are several times when my co-founder and I have had awkward conversations, but those awkward conversations for the most part have always left us in a better place, because we learn to respect each other more. We learn to understand each other more. I appreciate what irritates him. He appreciates what irritates me. And so we go to efforts not to do those things to each other. And that helps us to work more strongly as a team, which allows us to be a lot more effective in achieving our goal. And indeed, we've come such a long way from where we first started out with just an idea to create a charity to now a charity that is running and forming partnerships and doing great things, impacting students. And so I really want to encourage you, as I said, to be open to rebuke. I want to encourage you to have that level of humility, to know that you're not perfect, you will get things wrong. And indeed, you don't have to be perfect, but it is important that you are open to receiving criticism and open to being willing to change aspects of how you operate with different people for the sake of maintaining healthy, positive relationships so that you can keep progressing in the different areas of your life. Thank you so much for listening. I really hope this video encouraged you. If you liked it, please do like the video, give it a thumbs up. Please do subscribe to my channel, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Bye for now.